the side effects really come not because it's, oh, this medication in certain people are definitely going to get these side effects regardless of the dose. No, the side effects are an indication that you are at too high of a dose, or at least too high of a dose for your body right now. Because this medication is so potent, just like naltrexone, right? You can actually, oh, and I didn't finish explaining that. With naltrexone, you get a little bit of naltrexone and it actually improves your body's own production of opioids. So it's an open question. I mean, I'd be curious to see if we get some research on this front in the next 5, 10 years, whether it might be possible that with these low doses, with the microdosing, we may actually see some of the its body's own appetite regulation and insulin sensitivity regulation and that kind of stuff actually kick in and upregulate as a result of the low dose GLP-1s. I think it's very likely. Yeah. So some people they try to do microdosing with injectables, just do only a few clicks with the injections. And there's this whole trend about click charts and how to dial tiny doses with the pens. But we think sublingual is just a lot more approachable. A lot of people don't like needles. A lot of people don't want to be injecting anything on a regular basis. And the sublingual route is definitely one we've used for a long time with a lot of different hormones and certain nutrients. But the delivery method that we now have available for these peptides, because historically, again, peptides, we couldn't do peptides orally at all, even sublingually, because the absorption wasn't fast enough that the peptide would basically get into the gut and it would just get digested. So now we have these new sublingual carriers and vehicles that will allow that absorption and it's faster. We'll talk more about that in a minute. But
Yeah, so we're
yeah,
transitioning into why under the tongue. Okay, and I think a lot of our listeners, a lot of our community are really curious. Semaglutide isn't normally just a pill that you swallow, although I think there once existed like a big old pill that you swallowed that you had to take in a special way. So what is the advantage of sublingual microdosing versus just taking a small pill or a tiny injection?
yeah, so that's a great
Sorry.
question. The main issue, like I mentioned, was the peptide drugs are really notoriously hard to absorb if you swallow them. So if you swallow semaglutide, your stomach and intestines are just going to destroy most of it, and very little of it will get in the bloodstream. So even under ideal conditions, the oral semaglutide, you're only going to get maybe zero point 0.4 to 1% of it to get digested. So that means greater than 99% of it is never even going to get absorbed. And so that's why they had to create that oral tablet, Ribelsis, that's 14 milligrams. Yes, 14 milligrams taken daily to get a similar effect as the 1 milligram weekly shot. So they have to overwhelm the gut barriers with brute force and this absorption enhancer in the pill in order to get it through.
Wow, that's almost 100 milligrams a week.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Well, it points to how inefficient the gut absorption is ultimately for that particular molecule. And that's under perfect conditions, empty stomach. If we tried to microdose by swallowing orally tiny amounts, it would be too low to matter. You'd be really absorbing practically nothing. But sublingual under the tongue gives us an interesting option because when you put a drug under the tongue or even inside the cheek, you can cheek it, it can diffuse through the mucous membranes there and get directly into the bloodstream without going through the stomach and the liver first. So we say it bypasses both the digestive destructive process as well as what's called first pass metabolism, which is when it goes first through the liver once and a lot of it gets inactivated. By doing this sublingual, you get a much smaller amount of the drug, but it can have a much more powerful effect because it's reaching through the circulation intact.
So, friends, it's like finding a side door. Okay, instead of like brute force going through the front door where there's like a bunch of security guards, and the security guards are like stomach acid and enzymes, and they're there waiting to beat you up.